everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So it's that time again. It is time for our bestie book tea, or what we like to call our 1 minute book recs. We go back and forth between what we call it, but this is our weekly reading review with 1 minute synopsises of our books. Okay, before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway.
Make sure to check back on our channel or on Instagram for updates on what our latest giveaways are.
So, how was your reading week?
I read 6 books, and I was trying to think, I had one book that I really liked that was a 5-star. Everything else was a 4-star, and I had a 3.5-star. Nothing really, my one book stood out, and that was about it.
Right. I had one that was amazing. I had some that were good. I had some that were not so good. I read 10 this week. And the last one that we will talk about at the end, I took one for the team. I read it so all y'all don't have to. Okay. And we're going to discuss that book. So, so that made my week very interesting, to say the least. I questioned a lot about myself there. So, you got the timer ready?
I do, because we know you need it.
So I'll start with 2 because I need it. Okay, I'll start with my first 2 and then end with my last 2. That should even it out, right?
Should we address what happened to your hand?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering what's going on here, my neighbor does a henna on my girls all the time, and they got a tube of it yesterday, and my 16-year-old was like, "Mom, let me do some henna on you." And I was reading my book and not paying attention to how much henna was coming on to me, and I kept it on for a really long time because I was in a good book. So, oops, yeah. So I've got some henna going on. Now it's
all right.
Yeah.
Ready?
My kids love it. So okay. So am I ready?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But wrong person. Okay, did you start the timer?
Yes.
Okay, so the first book that I read this week was Descent by Sam Mariano. This book is talked about quite a bit. This is very, definitely check your triggers. Just always check your triggers on the stuff that I read, please. So this is about Calvin and Hallie. So Calvin is this rich businessman. He's got a penchant for rape. That is his kink. It normally is he goes to a sex club and they normally set that up for him where it's not actual rape. It's kind of that non-consent, consent kind of thing. But he has seen Hallie at the company Christmas party. She was dating one of his employees. And this is several months later, and he decides that he wants Hallie. And so he uses that ex of hers, because they're broken up by now, to get her to this club where he actually rapes her. And then he blackmails her into a relationship. He steals her cat and blackmails her into a relationship on stuff that he has on her friend. He is not a good guy. She is raped for 70% of this book. It is very interesting. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. Because it's Sam Mariano. But everybody talks about how amazing this book is for those of us who like the darker stuff. I didn't think it was all that wonderful. I mean, I did, but it wasn't a 5-6 star for me. It wasn't wow, it's amazing. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I did, but it didn't. You know what I mean? It did, but it didn't. So anyhow, try it out. Let me know what you guys think. If you've read it, let me know. It didn't feel as dark as I was expecting it to be. Let's put it that way. It didn't. Slap your face all you want. It didn't. Okay.
All right.
Let's move on to my next book. Okay, so this one is really good. I've had this one on my TBR since I started reading in 2020. I don't know why I put it off for so long. I wish I wouldn't have. But this is Heartbreak Warfare, and it is by Heather M. Orgeron. I don't know how to say it. And then Kate Stewart also co-wrote this with her. So this is a love triangle, but it's a love triangle, but it's hard. It's really hard. I hate love triangles. I loved this book. So this is about our heroine, who is Katie. She's in the army. She's been being deployed for the first time. She's just signed up for a second term, and then she's being deployed to the Middle East. She has a husband at home who is Gavin, and then a 6-year-old son. And when she gets over to the Middle East, she's a nurse. When she gets over there, she meets these guys that are in the, that are there stationed with her. One of them, Briggs, is very flirty. He's very funny. There's an attraction between them, but she is dedicated to her husband. And then one day they go out on a humanitarian run, and they get captured, and they're held for months. And he becomes the only way she survived is because of him. And so then the book picks up when she's back home, and she's got this emotional attachment to him, but she wants to make her marriage work, but she's not the same person she was before. And her dealing with that trauma and all that. It's really, really good. 5 stars, hands down. Loved it. All right, Mandy.
So it's finally my turn. Yay.
Shush.
Okay, I'm trying to find a good spot to set the timer.
Oh, it's hard, right?
Okay. Now that we've had all that, my next book is from the Happy Cat series.
Again, this is why it's fun having the two of us, because you just get all different kinds.
Yeah, I think you definitely have more of a niche where you read, and I think I kind of dabble a lot all over.
Yeah. I think, and there's a lot of the stuff, you will read some of the dark stuff that I read, but
yes.
You haven't really gotten into the darkest of dark that I've read, because I'm afraid what will happen to you when that happens.
It's all on my list though, but also you've been reading like this for 3 years. I'm just a little over a year in.
Yeah, and the stuff that I first found that was dark is no longer dark to me anymore.
Yeah.
So apparently this rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper. It's just scary. Okay. So tell us about your first read.
So my first read is Hammered by Peppa Grant and Lily Valente. I hope I said that right. This is Happy Cat number 2. Happy Cat is like the town. That's why it's called Happy Cat. So this is about Olivia. Olivia is a very free spirit. She gets arrested because she is moon bathing, which you do naked in the town square, because she wants to cleanse her spirit. And Jace he describes himself as the town screw up, and he owns the bar in Happy Cat, and he's really trying to kind of turn over this new leaf, but there's a sheriff or cop in town that really does not like him, and so any little thing he can arrest Jace for, he does, even when it doesn't really have, it can't stick, he'll still haul him in just to mess with him. And so Jace is a little frustrated kind of that he just can't get past this town screw up thing. He's had this on again, off again relationship with Ginger. Ginger and him are just no good for each other. And they finally make a clean break. And he and Olivia are really attracted to each other. And they have a wonderful night together. And then Ginger shows up and says, I'm pregnant. So Jace is like, I can't keep being the screw up. I have to do what's right by my kid. And we go from there.
How many stars did you?
What?
How many stars did you give it?
4.
Oh, okay, so you liked it.
I did. Yeah.
Good.
I was just joking about it. It's just funny. You're talking about all these horrific rapes and stuff. And I'm like, my next book's from Happy Cat series.
I love it though.
They're famous for their sex toy factory.
I really need you in my life, because it gets a little dark here, and then we talk about books, and you're like, oh, and then this, yeah, great. I don't need to read palette cleansers. I just need to talk to you about what you read this week.
There you go.
I
don't know. A couple weeks ago, I read Kay Webster as a palette cleanser, so I might just as smart as you.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, so my next book was a free Audible short. This is Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn.
Oh, I have this on my TBR.
Do you?
Yes.
This is only 80 pages. I know it's not Christmas, but it was just, I was going through the Audible sale this week, and it was, even though it was free, I think it's always free. I was like, oh, let's just do this. And let's try a little cute little Christmas one. So it was a very quick listen, but this is about Nola and Caleb, and they were together when they were younger. When she graduated, he broke up with her and sent her on her way so that she could make something of herself. He runs the local hardware store in their little tiny Maine town, or town in Maine. And she comes home because of circumstances. She ends up coming home, And it's Christmas time. He's having a hard time dealing with Christmas. He's in a mood. So he writes this letter about what he hates about it. Just kind of an anonymous letter. He throws it in the trash. Well, they have a nosy mailman who pulls it out of the trash. And then when he sees that Nola has come home, he actually gives it to her. And so she starts writing resting Scrooge face. And she signs it as no, Noel. Noel, or something like that. And so these letters go back and forth between the two of them. They don't know that it's each other writing them, but it helps them deal with what broke them up. So it was really cute. I gave it 4 stars for a short and as quick, and it was really cute, especially coming off of not liking the one Megan Quinn book that we read. I really liked this one. This redeemed her for me. So yeah.
This is funny because I was talking to you about reading Christmas books at Christmas time, and you're like, I don't really like to read Christmas books. And it's June, and you're like, I read a Christmas book.
I know. I did.
You like to do things on your own terms.
I do. I don't like to be told what to read and when to read it, which is really hard, especially when people are like, you should read this book. And I do. There was a couple this week and I was like, yeah, I'll read them, but I have to be in the mood for them. I love when our viewers tell us you should read this book, like give us ideas. We love that. It's just sometimes it might take me a little while because I think I rebel. So I'm like, nope, I won't read it. But I did.
Yeah. Okay. You ready for my next book?
Yes.
All right. My next book is The Penalty Box by Odette Stone. This is number 3 in the Vancouver Wolves series, which is a hockey series. This is about Micah and Charlie. If I remember correctly, Micah is one of your favorites, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Micah is Russian.
Yes.
And the narration, I like the narration. It does an accent for him. My dad is Czech and lived in Russia for a really long time. And so I didn't feel like the accent was weird or anything. It was easy to listen to. And I'm wasting all my time. So they end up in a fake marriage because Micah gets himself into a little bit of some trouble that's really not his fault. And it kind of blows up all over. And so the hockey team owner is like, this is not cool. And he's like very upset. And so his agent decides the best way to do this is for him to look like he's serious and going to be settling down so he doesn't end up getting traded. And so she proposes Charlie, who's her friend and her assistant, because Charlie is somebody that he would have already known, and they could just play this off as like they've had a relationship on the down low. So it totally makes sense. I love the fake marriage, fake dating trope. This was done really well. It made sense. There's been books where I've read that where that trope is like, that's really a far stretch. This one totally makes sense. And I really liked it. It does have some romantic suspense to it. So it isn't just a sappy romance hockey story. There is some stuff that may be slightly triggering for some people. I didn't really find it a big deal, but I also don't really get triggered by stuff. So just wanted to throw
and then
that
this,
it's very good.
The Mafia series that she has, I think there's only like 2 out, spins off from this book.
Yes, because it's my friend, right?
Yes. And they're actually married. They do actually get married. So that's not, the marriage itself isn't fake, but the relationship is fake.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And I just have to say that whenever I hear a Russian accent, I measure it by your dad as well. So it's the only way. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So, yep. Okay. So are we ready for my next one?
Yes.
Okay, so I read Ruthless Saint by S. Mastery. If you guys remember, S. Mastery wrote that dark hockey or the bully hockey romance that I really liked. This one was okay. It wasn't as dark. It wasn't as gritty as I thought it would be. This was a 3-star read for me. So this is about Emil and Lucas. So Emil is getting married. She's going to marry Lucas's oldest brother. She's known for 3 years that she was going to marry him. And Lucas is the bastard in this Cosa Nostra group. Or his mom was not married to his dad. The dad was married to somebody else. And so he's kind of accepted, kind of not. But anyhow, on the wedding day, the oldest brother gets shot at the altar, and then another shot rings out and it misses her because Lucas jumps on her to save her. So once she gets cleaned up kind of and is in sweats and stuff, then they're like, oh, you still have to get married to somebody in the family. So she gets married to Lucas. And then the story goes on from there. So it was good. I mean, like, I enjoyed it when I read it, but I didn't, like, when I went to go back to write my notes for this week, it was when I had to actually look up because I couldn't remember what it was about. So, I mean, and I read it this week. So that gives you any indications. Just kind of those that you forget very easily. So I enjoyed it.
You took for the team?
No. Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, good.
No.
I can't wait.
I bet. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Jessica, my next book is the first book in the Kimora Chronicles.
I'm so excited. Okay.
So I read Twisted Loyalties. This is about Fabiano and Leona.
Yep.
Okay. Whew. And so obviously this is Cora Riley's series. It's Mafia. We've talked on and off about Cora Riley probably since we started our channel. You hear about it. If you've been around for a while, you've heard us talk about Cora Riley. So I have not gotten to the Kimora Chronicles. So that is my next tackle. So that's what I'm working on. Twisted Loyalties, though, is Fabiano is he's supposed to be dead, but Remo picks him up when he's younger and takes him into the Vegas, the Kimora, basically. Mm-hmm. And so he's now part of that mafia. And Leona is running from just kind of about, it's not really she's running. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go way over on this. Leona is leaving. Her mom has been a drug addict pretty much all her life, and her dad's a deadbeat, and their relationship is just horrific. Like, the stuff that you learn about how her mom actually ends up becoming a drug addict is just, it's disgusting. It's super awful that this happened to her. Like, I actually feel for the mom in this story. So Leona ends up going to live with her dad, and I think she doesn't realize just how bad things were between her parents, but she has nowhere else to go. She's right out of high school, so she's trying to save up money to go to college. So she goes to live with her dad. Her dad is a complete mess and basically just wants money from her and is just a horrible, horrible human being. She ends up meeting Fabiano, who gives her I don't know if he gives her a job. He tells her where to go get a job, and then she gets the job. And that's how they meet. He's involved in the mafia, and she's really just wants money so she can go to college and not live this shitty life that she's had to live so far. And if she gets involved with him in the mafia, is she really leaving behind all this crap that she's trying to leave behind?
Yep. There's also a lot of MMA in this one. Or at least there's a chunk.
Yes, because he does a lot of fights.
Yeah, there's fights at the place where she gets a job. So there's
and he fights because he wants to. He's not fighting like because he has to.
It's like, a thing with the Kimora.
Yeah, he's their enforcer, and so he is not a nice man. And he's actually surprised by himself when he does things for Leona. Yeah. He's like, why am I doing this? Like, he actually questions himself.
So did you like it?
I did. It was a 4-star for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it was a 4. I think it was a 4-star for me too. Yeah, it's, as far as the Kimora Chronicles go, like, it just led into that. You have to read it to get to the next ones. The next ones are all my favorites. The next 2, 3.
I'm excited to get to those.
Right out. It's great. Okay, ready? This one I was hoping would be great for you, Mandy, but this one was only 3 stars. So, okay. So this one is Stranded with His Dad by Chloe Main. So,
oh my gosh, Jessica.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know where I got this from. So this is about Jenna. She is in college, and she is a swimmer. Like, she competes all the time. She meets this boy, and they start dating. So she meets someone. She lives in California. He lives in Florida. So she decides that she's going to go and surprise him for a weekend in Florida. And so she flies out there. And when she gets there, he has gone to Bimini, which is in the Bahamas, without telling her he was going anywhere. And she shows up at his place and nobody's there. So he sends her a text and he's like, hey, go see my dad. He's at the marina. He's getting ready to take off on a sailing trip. and he'll bring you to me. He'll stop here. And so the dad is Ray, and Ray is 26 years older than her. This is very insta love. They do call it insta love. But he's attracted to her from the get-go, and things happen on this trip. And there's a lot of like, oh, you're with my son, but you're not. Here's the deal. She is 21, has never kissed a boy, and is still a virgin. I get the virgin thing. Fine. But never kissed a boy? And she's talking about needing her first kiss from him. Please. Anyhow, it was 3 stars. I expected more. And let me tell you, they never get stranded. Okay. If you're calling it stranded, it should not be one day while he fixed the fin on the boat, okay? Like the propeller, like he had to fix something. And he's a Navy SEAL, a retired Navy SEAL, so he was able to dive under and do that. Do not tell me they're stranded if they are not stranded on an island somewhere. Next page. It just gets on my last nerve. I was expecting stranded.
I keep bumping the table.
I know, I bump my cameras all the time. Okay, your turn.
Okay, Jessica. I read a book that one of our subscribers recommended in a comment. And I was hesitant because it was about a love triangle, and I really don't like love triangles. But I thought I would give it a try because it had age gap in it. And it just didn't end up quite being my thing.
I knew it.
I know. But I gave it a try. Wow. So let me tell you about this book.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Intoxication by, I'm going to butcher this name, I'm so sorry, Charlene Namdahari. I hope I got it close. So this is about Sienna, or I think it's Sienna because it's like S-I and then Anna, Sienna.
Okay.
And Drake. And they meet kind of in this cute little meet cute way when she falls flat on her face when she's running late to the airport. He helps her up and she responds by kissing it right on the lips. So that is how they originally meet. They have 2 more run-ins, and then he is so smitten with her that he propositions her for a night together. And she is getting evicted from her place because the place where she rents a room is being sold. And so she really is kind of down on her luck trying to find a job and all of this stuff because she ends up quitting her job for a very valid reason. So she's kind of desperate for the money, but she's definitely attracted to Drake. So I don't want to give anything away.
Then don't.
So she, I won't give anything away. So they have their night, and then we fast forward several months later, and she ends up running into Drake again because she's engaged to Drake's son. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I really thought I would like this a lot better than I did. It was 3.5 stars, so it wasn't like horrible. I liked it. I just didn't really like it. I'm not a huge fan of the love triangle. I felt like there should have been more angst. And sometimes when there was dialogue between the characters, it just didn't flow right for me. Yeah.
And it's okay because something that somebody else loves doesn't always click with us, and vice versa. I mean, I might try it at some point. I put it on my list. So, I can handle love triangles a little bit more than you can. So,
well, you know what? I blame Kay Webster.
Do. Yes.
Because if I hadn't read The Tangle of Awful, this book might have felt a lot different.
That was not a love triangle.
No, I'm just saying what happened in one and what happened in the other. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note,
I just want to say, if you like Intoxication, go read The Tangle of Awful by Kay Webster, and your mind's going to be blown. All right, Jessica, what would you like to talk about now?
Oh, I would like to talk about my book.
That's a snarky tally mark for you.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's talk about my book. So I read Blame It on the Champagne by Fiona Cole. This was 3.5 stars, which is still good. I enjoyed it in the moment. It wasn't like groundbreaking. I still want to continue on with the series. But it was okay. So this is about Vera and Nico. So Vera has graduated from college. Her father runs this big shipping company, and she wants to go work for her dad. And I think she got her master's, if I remember right. I can't quite remember, and it's only been a few days. Anyhow, her dad is like, no, you're just going to be a socialite wife and you're not going to go to work. That is not your job. So I've arranged a marriage for you with this guy who's twice your age. She wants to work. She doesn't want this. So she goes out and uses her grandmother's maiden name her grandmother's, to get a job at a different shipping company, high up, because again, she has her master's. And that's where she meets Nico. He is her boss. And when he finds out that she is having to marry this other guy, he's like, nope, marry me. But he's doing it for nefarious reasons. He wants to get back at her family. So I enjoyed it. But here's the deal. It's marketed as an arranged marriage, right? But the marriage doesn't happen till way, way into the book. And when you're telling me that there's an arranged marriage situation, I need it right away. I need that we don't want to be married, but I like the forced, I guess, is more like what it is. And it needs to happen earlier. Shut up. You're so mean to me. Anyhow. Yeah. You're not. No, that's no. But I'm just saying.
Just trying to keep yourself from getting another snarky tally mark.
I am. Yeah. Anyhow, it just didn't. It was 3.5. So again, 3 means I enjoyed it. It just wasn't something I'll ever reread. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So, but I do want to read the next one. It's on my list.
I have that sitting on my shelf.
I know. Yeah, we both got it.
Really pretty cover.
It's a beautiful cover. This is our cover to cover book box edition, which is laser signed and so pretty.
I think I set a timer on my phone to make sure I ordered that on time because I'm not a member. So I had
and this
monthly.
I think this was the one that had Luca in it.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah, that's why I had to have it.
All right. So
okay. Ready for my next one?
I am.
All right, so I have finished the Vancouver Wolves series by reading the last book, the 4th book, High Risk Rookie by Odette Stone. This is about Levi and Krista. Oh, a 4-star read. I really like this series, highly recommend it. I think anybody who likes hockey and maybe a little romantic suspense would enjoy this series. So Krista is a sports agent. And she goes off to find this rookie that is hanging out in Mexico, not playing hockey, but he was like he just kind of disappeared off the map. And she's like, if I can find him and get him a great contract, this is going to get me on the Forbes list, which is where she's trying to be. So she goes to Mexico to hunt him down, finds him in a bar, and they're drinking together. Like she's just trying to convince him to come back to the States with her and try out for the Vancouver Wolves. And they do 2 shots. And then one of his buddies comes up and is like, where'd my shots go? And they're like, oh, we drank them. And he's like, those were a little extra. So the 2 of them end up drugged and they wake up the next day together. Having had quite the night. And it turns out they got married.
Of course they did.
Huh?
So of course they did. That's what you always do when you get blackout drunk. And not drugged.
No. I loved this one because there was some great reasons why she needed to wrap this up and keep it on the down low. She really was attracted to him, but she did not want to act on that because as a sports agent, this was going to get like her in hot water. So I really, really enjoyed how all this played out. There wasn't any like really dumb reasons for anything to happen. It like literally would have some dire consequences for both of them if they didn't, keep this under wraps and everything. So I really liked how all that was done. It was a great story. I enjoyed the whole series.
Yeah, that's the only one in the series I haven't read yet. I have it. I have the audio. It's on my Kindle.
I'm still on my mission to complete my series. So, yay!
Yay! Good girl. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. All right. So the next book that I read is The Room to the West, and this is by Lauren Beale. Now, Lauren Beale wrote the Stalker book that I love, and she wrote another one that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I saw this one, and I saw that it was time travel, and it was time travel to the Old West, and I was like, I have to read it. I mean, she's way darker. Again, check your triggers. So this is about Hannah. Now, Hannah is an escort, and she goes by the name Hannah. She only uses her actual name. I think we only hear it twice in the book, her real name, but she goes by Hannah. And she talks about how being an escort and having these clients and stuff, and the things she has to do for money or the things that she does do is like stealing parts of her soul. But she gets a message from a client that says, meet me at this time at this hotel. And so she goes to the room. When she walks in, it's all black in the room, and she can't see anything. And she says she has to get out. So she opens the door. When she opens the door, she's in the 1880s in Arizona, because it takes place in Arizona, in the Wild West, in the saloon. And she is dressed as one of the saloon girls, as one of the prostitutes in the saloon. And eventually she meets a rancher who buys her time, but like as like he wants to spend time with her. When she gets there, she's like, I am not going to work for this madam because I work for myself, but there's things that happen. So anyhow, check triggers. This was a 4-star read for me. I did enjoy this quite a bit. It has a different feel to it because she was an escort, and then she gets back there and she still has to sell her body. And so it touches on these themes, and it talks a lot about that. So it is dark, and there are things that happen, but this was only Lauren Beale's second book that was ever released. So I think she did an awesome job, and I was definitely into it. So yeah.
Okay.
I know how you feel about saloon girls. So you might want to pick this one up, Mandy.
All right.
Okay.
Well, add that to like the 680 books on my TBR.
Close to my like 992.
Okay, my next book and my last book of the week was Ruckus by L.J. Shen. This is part of the Centers of Saint series. It's book number 2. So this is about Rosie, or Baby LeBlanc, and Duke, or Ruckus. So this book was incredibly good. I don't really want to, it's 5-star read for me. I don't want to give anything away. Rosie is really sick, and Dean loves her. Like, he's obsessed with her. He basically just bides his time for her to come around to agree to be with him. And then once she's single, he pounces on that opportunity. And they get together, and I'll have to say, like, I expected there to be a little more back and forth between the two of them, but it was like they both just knew, like, this is it. So they get together, and it's about, like, there's lots of stuff going on in this book with Dean in his personal life, and then Rosie is dealing with her illness. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's just so incredibly good. I want to say that they talk about adoption in this book. And again, I'm not going to use any names because it's not really giving anything away, but I don't want to like have spoilers. The person refers to their mom. He's like, my real mom, the mom who raised me. And I really like that because I'm adopted, and it used to bug me, not so much more as an adult because I get where people are coming from. But when I was younger and people would be like, well, do you know your real mom? Well, yeah, I know my real mom. She's the one who loves me, takes care of me, like pays for everything, houses me, feeds me. Mm-hmm. That is my real mom. Like, how much more real can you get? So that used to like bug me. So I love that it was referenced in here like that, because it's so true. Like, your real parents are the parents that are parenting you. They're the ones that take care of you and love you. Mm-hmm. And they chose to love you. Exactly. And so I loved that aspect of it. So that's just my little plug for adoption storyline done right.
Yes, I love that. I remember that too when we were younger, having that discussion. It's bio mom, and then you have your real mom. You know, like it's your But I think younger kids don't know to use that terminology. So
I've had adults ask me before too. Do you know your real parents? Yeah.
Yeah, I do know my real parents. They were amazing, especially your mother. So Miss that woman.
I get though, when like I said, when I was younger, it used to bug me because people like, I just don't understand. And so now, like, I just explain it just like that. Yeah, my real mom, she's the one who raised me, loved me.
Exactly. So, okay, I have 3 more books to talk
Okay,
about. Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So the next book I read is His Pretty Little Burden. This is by Nikki Harris. This is the 4th book in her Kids of the District series. I didn't realize that until I'd finished it. And they can be read as standalones, but again, I didn't realize it until I finished it. I just saw it being recommended and I was like, oh, let's go read this book. Anyhow, so this is about Fawn. Fawn is her mother died when she was young. She didn't find out till she was older that her dad is in the mafia. She goes to find him. She's been in foster care. She is pregnant. She's young. She's like 18. She's pregnant at this point in time. She thinks she knows who the father is. It's one of her foster brothers. But it was a bad situation that got her there. So when she goes to go look for her dad, that is when she finds our hero, which is Clay, and he is the mayor of their town. This takes place in Australia. He's the mayor of their town, but he is also the head of the Italian mafia in that town as well. And so he has a beef to pick with her dad, and so he decides to keep her to get back with the dad. So anyhow, this was a 3.5 star read. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more had I read the other books in the series. I enjoyed it when I was listening to it. I enjoyed it. It's just, and it's a duet. Apparently, there's another book, but I really don't have the desire to go read the rest of the book. I do have to say, definite trigger warnings, and because I know this is very important, especially for women, there's trigger warnings for miscarriage in this book, and there are things that are done, and this is a huge pet peeve of mine, in this book after a miscarriage. This should never, ever be done right after a miscarriage. I can't stand that. Like, if you're going to write about women's reproductive health, maybe in things like this, maybe you should do some research on what's allowed.
So I have so this is a writing situation and not like a male character's just an ass and not sensitive or something. Okay.
No, he was very sensitive, but I knew we were going to go downhill when this happens. And she said something to the doctor about tampons, and the doctor didn't correct her. The guy said, no, I got you pads. But like, there was never, you're not allowed to wear tampons after a miscarriage. At least you weren't when I was having my kids. They don't want anything obstructing up in there. And then other things happened too. There were several things that happened after the miscarriage that I was like, no. So anyhow, just putting that out there. Sorry guys, I just can't stand it.
I know there's so many like random pet peeves though, but then I always wonder, like, did the author have this experience or know somebody who did, so that's why they're writing it, and it's just like not everybody else's experience and it shouldn't maybe be happening,
and I
but
know,
it did.
like, in different countries there's different things as far as medically, but women's health is just so important, and your reproductive health and like that kind of thing. Just get that straight. Just get it straight. And as a woman, you should know. I don't know.
Unless you've never had experiences with that stuff.
But I've never had the experience.
I know, but I mean, like, if you have not had children, then you may not have like.
Well, yeah, that's true. I feel like that's part. If you're writing a book, that's part of research.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always wonder, like, did they ask a friend and a friend is like, oh, this is what happened? And so
yeah, like that's not research. That's just asking a friend. So anyhow, that drove me nuts. So okay. Our next book, I really don't even need the timer for. So let's just. So the next book that I read.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. It's The Summer Proposal by Vi Kayland. This is what I read for our next Convincing My Bestie.
Yes. I'm back.
You're back. Yes. And the video will be out Thursday. So you can watch that to see what I thought about it. I did enjoy it. I'll just put that out there. I did like it quite a bit. Yes. So yeah. Okay. Now let's go to the book that I took for the team. Okay.
Okay.
So I read Captive by Lauren Beale. This book is all over TikTok right now because it is like the most, I don't even know what to call it. It's classified as horror romance, if that gives you any indication. The things I can never eat mayonnaise again. Like it just ruined so much for me in this book. I did give it 4 stars though, because I did like it, and now I'm questioning myself about why I liked it. So this is about Ophelia and Alexander. And Ophelia has been raised by her alcoholic father, who has abused her. Guys, I'm not kidding. The trigger warnings for this book is like a mile long. Check them all. She's been abused by her father. And she's still living with him. She's still dealing with that trauma. She's working at a diner, and there's a guy that comes in all the time, and that is Alexander. And he's good looking, but he brings in his disgusting brother. And he has been raised in a house where they kidnap, torture, and rape women his whole life. The book starts out when he's 10, and he's talking about doing this. But he has a mother that lives with them, who is also a captive at this point in time, who he's really close to. So he's not as barbaric as his brother. He has a little bit of humanity thanks to his mother. So they kidnap Ophelia. She's not the only one being held captive there. And they do horrible, horrible things to her throughout the whole book. So this is one of the darkest things I've ever read. It is one of the grossest things I've ever read. But I am questioning myself, because I was like, kind of liked it. I liked it enough to give it 4 stars. And I know we had somebody on our TikTok page actually say that to me. She was like, I'm kind of ashamed that I like it so much. And I'm like, no shame here. I get it. Okay. No shame. You like what you like. Especially in literature. It's fiction. In real life, we would not condone this. It's fiction. And I think that's part of it too. My brain easily detaches. It is like, nope, this isn't even real. So I did take one for the team. If you think you can handle it, go ahead. But it is banned. I had to get it. You go to her website and you can get it there. I got it through Apple Books, but it is banned on Amazon unless you want to order the physical book. So, yeah, I don't see Mandy jumping on this train.
I'm going to go read it right now.
Really?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.